All right.
Recording.
Good evening, everybody. This is Dale Lamb with Gardner Webb, along with Dr. Danny Stedman. Tonight is intern night, and we're only going to talk about intern things tonight. And I'm going to try to be fast, so I won't keep you very late. Thank you for joining us. The first thing I want to cover tonight is the intern shell. As I told you, along with your 601 class shell, under my courses, you will find a shell. You'll either be in my section with me, and it will say Mel's internship shell -Lamb or -Hamilton. Dr. Hamilton is around the corner tonight. He's on another Zoom right now. He may be able to join us later. But I was with him yesterday. His shell is working. Some of you have already put work in his. I called up mine this afternoon. Some folks have put in mine. And so when you click on our shell, and I'll click on mine, when you click on that internship shell, it's really simple. Over on the left-hand side of the menu, for what we're interested in right now is AppSell task for review. If you will click on that button, you will see that it offers you the option to upload your work for me to review it immediately, and I'll be fast. And when you click on that, it will offer you a thread, and you simply, and it tells you right here, these are the people who have already uploaded work, and I've already read their work. So
don't click on my name, though.
I won't click on your name, but but what I will do is show that. See, these are the early adopters. These are the people you know they're going to make an A. They're going to be the people that get jobs first. They're going to set the woods on fire. They're already in here. Very good work. I was very pleased with the work. But as you can see, when you click on that, you can create a thread and upload your work, and that's what we want you to do there, and it comes straight to me. So that's these boxes for. All 5 of the AppSell are here, and all 4 of the AppTel is here. And so that's a direct line to me. I'll be fast. I'll grade it same day. I did wait on one for a second review on one, and then I did respond, but mostly I'll get it today, or that you put. I check morning and evening. Now, if you put it in at 9 o'clock in the morning, I probably won't get it till that evening. But if you get it in early, I grade early, and I grade late. So that's what that's for. Now later on, you're going to use these boxes down here that say evaluation drop box for the AppSell. When we tell you it's through, you can drop it in here, and I'll give you a grade on it in your internship as well. You know your internship is a 2-hour course as well. That's why you have a shell, and I'll give you a grade. Now, your internship is going to be pass-fail, so don't be worried about that, but I have to have record that you put work in here because it is a 2-hour course. It has to log in that you've done some work. And so you drop it here, each one of them in here, and then when you put all of these together and get them ready for TaskStream, right before you go to TaskStream with your final evidence narrative that has all 5 tasks for the AppSell, you'll click on this button and you will upload that here. And what it's going to do, with no penalty to you and no cost, it's going to put it through the Turnitin process to make sure that you've done, as I told you, that you've done your citations correctly, and it doesn't appear that you have plagiarized anything. It'll catch that, and it'll give you the opportunity to fix anything that you need to fix if it's in the red before you then take it to TaskStream and turn it in. All right, so turn it in is an automatic function. You don't have to select that in TaskStream. When you put it in TaskStream, it's automatically going to go through Turnitin for state evaluation. And this gives you an opportunity to fix any of those issues before it goes to the state for evaluation. I told you we have a system here. That's why ours don't get rejected and you don't have any problems passing your state licensure, is because we know what to expect and we have anticipated those issues and we have put a process in place to account for those. Now, you say, Dale, when is this mysterious task stream going to be available? Yay, it's here. So when you get that final document ready, you can now go in and you should have gotten an email on how to create your task stream account. And when you sign into TaskStream, you're going to have a box on your screen that says Spring 1918 or 2018 add-on. You're going to have a box. That's your DRF portfolio. Not to be confused with a competency folio. This is your DRF portfolio. And when you click on that button, and I'm in a student view right now, this is what you're going to see. It's going to say Mel's Spring 18 add-on. And you can see the things that you're responsible to put in TaskStream this semester are your finished app. No parts, no comments. You put it in and submit it for evaluation. That's come through the Turnitin process in our internship. And then later on, you will do the AppTel as well. You will put it in there. Do not worry about competency analysis until these two are completed, because you're going to go in, I'll show you, you're going to go into these two documents to task 5 of the AppSell and task 4 of the AppTel, and I'll explain this again later, and you're going to copy and paste those responses into this box. Because when you fill out your competency analysis, it's going to ask you if you've met each of the 21 competencies, either met or not met, and you're simply going to copy and paste those competency analysis that you wrote in those individual tasks, task 5 of the AppSell and task 4 of the AppTel, you're going to paste them in this box. And you're going to click Met and go on about your business. And when you get done, you're going to submit that. All right? Now, what you do need to do right now, as soon as you get signed in to TaskStream, is go in and do School of Ed dispositions. Now, it's not a test. You don't have to have completed anything. This is the pre-test. This is where you are right now in your dispositional personality behaviors. It's going to ask you 6 questions where you think you are. There is no wrong answer. And so you will do that, and once you have done that, you will then, once it is completed, you'll save and return, and then once you save and return, it's going to ask you to submit work. And they're flashing that little arrow right here. You'll click on that submit work.
Okay, let me get my toy.
And you will submit your School of Ed dispositions. You can do that as soon as you sign up for get your TaskStream account established. That's in your DRF portfolio.
Dr.
Please
Lamb,
remember,
remind students to mute their devices.
Yeah, mute your devices. Let me see if I can do that. No, it won't let me. You'll have to do it, Dr. Stedman. If you'll go to the participants and click on it, it should give you the opportunity to
mute all.
Mute all. There you go. And then I'll unmute myself. All right, I'm unmuted now, so everybody's muted. All right. So you can do your School of Ed dispositions now. Don't worry about competency analysis. You won't need to do that until the end of the semester when you've completed the AppSell and the AppTel. Again, these 2 boxes, they're only for the completed, all 5 of them put together that we have okayed and you've gone through Turnitin. This is for state grading, and once you submit it, we can't get it back. So don't submit the first task and say, I'll just go ahead and get it graded and see what they think. You'll pass the first task and you'll fail the other 4. So don't do that.
Don't even click on it until Dr. Lamb tells you to.
I'll tell you when to, when you go in and upload there. Remember, this is your state portfolio. This is not Gardner Webb. This is your state portfolio. So don't go in and don't poke the bear. Follow the directions. If you're one of those people that that just following the direction chafes you and makes your collar tight. You're just going to have to deal with that. You got to follow directions on this because I'll have to go in and do an exception and get it back out. I don't want to do that. So don't put it in there until we tell you to put it in. All right, now, your second function, if you will, in TaskStream, question. Second grader had not been assigned, then hold off on your dispositions. He may only have one grader in there right now. He was supposed to have that done, but he had to leave town and come back, our TaskStream coordinator. And so hopefully by tomorrow you can do that. So hold off if you tried your dispositions and it won't let you. That means your second evaluator has not been assigned. So he said he got him in there, but obviously maybe there was an issue with the assigning the person to evaluate that. Okay, so that's good to know. Thank you for that. So we'll wait a day or two. Not imperative, but hopefully we'll get that in the next day or two. That'll get squared away. Remember, this is a private company that we have to deal with. Gardner Webb has to deal with these people just like anybody else that's doing state licensure. They don't work at our pace. Our folks put it in, but then when they act on their end, it's up to them. And so our people put it in yesterday, was told that it would be available today, but that may not be the case. All right, so your second function, and you can do this, I believe. No, I know you can because I did it earlier today. The second thing is to create. We don't want you putting anything in it yet. We want you to create your competency folio. I know that you won't be able to put anything in it or request comments yet, because everybody's not been assigned. But you can create it right now, and you can go in and look at it. So what you will do from this screen, you will click on Folios and Web Pages. And oh, by the way, I have a video. Let me show you where the video is. That's your first task, is to watch the video. And it's 4 minutes of me explaining this. It's like I'm going to do tonight, but I want you to see where that video is. So if you go back to let's see if I've got it here. Look at there. It's in your competency. It's under competency, setting up your competency folio, both here in my shell, Dr. Hamilton shell. It's also in your class shell under competency folio directions. There's a video. It's a 4-minute video that I did that shows you what I'm going to do now. You need to watch that. I'll walk you through it right now. So if we go back to TaskStream, you simply click on Folios and Web Pages, and it'll take us out of that. And so we're now on Folios and Web Pages. We want to create a new one, but we have to name it first. And so we're going to name it Dale's FOLIO Spring 2018. Dale's Competency Folder Spring 2018 add-on. All right. I'm going to create a new one. So I click Create New. I'm going to select Custom Templates Designed by Your Learning Community. That means that we here at Gardner Webb, meaning me, created a folio for you. And then you're going to select Competencies for 21st Century Leaders, and you're going to click on that. And then Continue. And then you're going to pick your theme, what you want it to look like. I'm going to pick the baseball one here. All right. And I can preview that if I want to, but then I have to hit the Apply button. And then I go back and click on Folios and Web Pages again. And that thing will be here somewhere. And there it is. Dale's Competency Folio Spring 2018 add-on. You'll only have one. I have several. And so when you click on that, over here are going to be the competencies. This is where you upload your competency artifacts or proofs, and I've told you what those are. Things like that email permission from your principal, your agenda, and your minutes from your PLC meeting, or pictures or a video of those things. You just have to upload those things here. We don't want to, you're going to do an analysis that tells us about what you've been doing. Here, you're just going to upload them as proof of what you did. So if you click on communication and it tells you one of these three, either from the app cell or the PSYOP or open-ended. Open-ended is from your suggested activities list as a clinical intern. You got to do three, and that's where they got to come from. So that email permission could be an example of a communication competency. You'd simply upload that snapshot of that email. But one of the three must satisfy a digital learning competency, promote and model positive digital citizenship, as well as practical policies, communication, collaboration. That would be a perfect place to upload a link to a Zoom video where you did a peer review of one another's evidence artifacts, task 1 and 2. That would be the most appropriate proof of a digital competency from the app cell that you could have. So if I might write that down, that would be the correct thing to do. You upload it there, and then you request comments on it. Now, you can upload them, but don't request comments yet. You can go back later on and request comments for multiple of these at one time. You don't have to request comments. Say you got 5 things to put in here. You can put all 5 of them in, go to request comments, and then request comments on all 5 of them at one time. See, it'll let you pick how many. So we put the first 5 in. It'll let us request them all at one time. Saves you time, saves us effort, because we get an email every time you do this. And then you'll hit the continue button, and then you pick me, I'm on the list, or you pick Dr. Hamilton, whoever your coach is, you pick them. You can pick Dr. Stedman too. He might want to look at them. You can pick him, and then continue. And so you just hear that? I just got an email. You go to my inbox. Look at there. I just requested comments. That's how easy it is to request us to look at your competency folio. And we'll look at them and say, pretty much we'll say yes or no. Yeah, that's a good example, or nah, that's not really a good example of that competency. But again, on 18 of the competencies, one of them's got to be digital. The very best example for communication competency in terms of what it's asking you for is a link to a video of a Zoom peer review. That would be the very best proof of a digital learning competency in terms of communication that I can think of. So that's why I would use that one if it were me. Now, you can put more than the 3 in there, but that's up to you. But you're required to put 3, and that one's got to come from the app cell, one from the PSYOP, and one open-ended, and one of them has to be a digital learning competency where you display your ability to communicate and collaborate digitally. Now, each of the digital competencies is a little bit different, so look and read them, make sure you know what they're asking you for. I'll go ahead and click out of that.
Dr. Lamb.
Yes?
And this group needs to, again, I know you've said it, but between the APSO and the APTEL, they will do all 21 this semester. And then next semester, they'll do 21 again. And then the third semester, they'll do 21 again.
Yes, they will.
Okay, so you're going to address every one of these competencies 3 different times.
That's correct. But some of them have a digital learning competency embedded and
Right.
Others don't. So be sure you read what you're expected to do for that to satisfy the competencies for that one.
Yes, Tamara, you can use artifacts for more than one competency.
Yeah, but now somebody asked me a question and I thought, well, that was an ingenious question. I like this person already. They said, now, can we use them for more than one competency? And I said, yes. They said, can we count them more than once on our hours for our 80 hours a semester? No, you can't count them. You can't count them twice on the hours, but they can count for more than one competency. That is correct.
But Dr. Lamb, we don't need to see that one artifact over and over and over again. Don't overuse it either.
Yeah. You can start uploading now. Just don't request comments yet because the people may not be loaded in here yet. If they're not loaded in for you to do SOE dispositions, I suspect they haven't loaded in us for as reviewers yet either. Again, all we can do is batch you in, and then and we give them the names and they set that up. Again, this is a private company that provides this. This is the provider for DPI, so we have to wait on them, hopefully within the next day or so. But you can go ahead and start uploading them now. Just don't request comments yet. Is there a list of competencies that goes into detail, or can we only access the competencies through task stream? No, you've been given multiple lists of the competencies. Those 2 documents I gave you go into great detail about competencies. Let's look at those again. That's a good question. I'll have to open those up. I may lose you for a second because I wasn't prepared to show you those 2 again tonight. Let me see. It's always better to have everything loaded before you start. I didn't anticipate this question. Let me go to this then. All right, so I'm going to have to go to this file. All right, I'm going to have to resort it. Here we go. And get the other one. All right, can you see that list on the screen?
Yes.
All right, this is where they come from. This is where those competencies here they are, and here's the 21 competencies, and here's the definition of them. So we've got that for you. So here are your 21 competencies. Here's where you will find them, or here's where I think they fit best. Here's where I think they fit best. In terms of when you do an activity that's on your suggested list of activities, this is where I think they fit best in terms of competency, and you can read that list. This is from open-ended. This is open-ended from your clinical experiences. I also have it scoped out for you here, where you will find competency proofs or proof of competency from the task that you do from doing your evidence artifacts. And again, I just have them numbered here. So competency number 1 corresponds to competency number 1 on the list, which is communication. Now, if you want to know where these come from, you can Google the North Carolina Principal Evaluation Manual that has standards and competencies. Again, this is back to the State Department of Public Instruction. We have to satisfy these competencies for them because that's what administrators are required to do. The evidence artifacts satisfy the administrative standards, the evidence narratives. The artifacts, they satisfy the artifacts that go along with them. Administrators in North Carolina are evaluated based on evidence artifacts. Administrators, I showed you this the other night, I can show you again, must have written narratives, evidences of the work they've done when they're evaluated, and they must have the artifacts that would be generated from them having done that. So the DRF portfolio is where you put your evidence narratives. That's the evidence of what you've done. The artifact, the competency folio, is the artifacts that prove that you did that, and they're in the area of competencies. Because they're things that you do. Competencies are things that you do, not just what you wrote up. They show the doing part. The evidences show the learning part. The artifacts show the doing part. And so that's big with DPI for licensure, is learning and doing. And so that's what we're having you do here. Okay, another question come in. Okay, thank you. Very good. So you can start uploading your competencies now. Just don't request comments. If it tells you there's not an evaluator assigned for dispositions, that means they probably hadn't put the people in the list yet either. The assumption was that they did that today since we got them in last night, but they didn't do that, I guess. We'll follow through with that tomorrow and see if we can speed that process. But you can see your DRF portfolio. You can register your account now. You can go ahead and start uploading artifacts into your competency folio. You can go ahead and start putting your evidence narratives into mine and Dr. Hamilton's shell for our review. And just like today, I told people, you know, once I saw that they had at least 2 peer reviews and their evidence narrative was good, I told them, you know, you're good. Go on to the next one. And then Dr. Stedman, you can put it in his Dropbox at that time for a grade for him, and you can put it in my Dropbox for a grade, that individual task. Once I tell you to move to the next task, that means you're done with that one. Let me say that again. That's important. Once I tell you, or Dr. Hamilton tells you to move to, you know, we might tell you to start a rough draft, but continue with the peer review process. That means you haven't gotten enough reviews yet. But when we see that you have enough reviews, we'll tell you to move on. That means you can go ahead and drop that task one in my Dropbox for a grade, or Dr. Hamilton's, and then you can put it in your class Dropbox for a grade. And then you're moved on. You're done with it now, and you go on to task 2. And we'll tell you that. But, you know, initially when they first come in before they're peer reviewed, we'll tell you to continue, you know, if it's good, bad, what needs to be fixed, continue with the peer review process. When you put it in there and when you get enough peer reviews and it's good enough, we'll tell you move on to the next task. That means you can put it in the assignment Dropbox for a grade, both in class and internship. Remember, you're taking 8 hours this semester. 6 is your class and 2 is your internship. And so I have to have when I give you that pass at the end of the semester, I have to have something that I've graded that I've based that pass decision on. That's what those drop boxes are for. I know it's double duty, but you're taking, in effect, 2 classes. The work is the same for both of them. One's a 6-hour and one's a 2-hour internship, but I have to have a grade book. I have to have something in there that shows that you did your work this semester for me to give you your credit for your 2-hour clinical internship class.
Dr. Lamb, they need to know, too, that when you and Dr. Hamilton look at things, that as their instructor, I'm going to probably give it a little, maybe a more cursory look. And so you may say it's ready, but I may look at it more for, if I see APA issues or whatever, they still may have to clean some things up, even though you say it's ready. So I don't want them to get confused with that and think, well, Dr. Lamb said, you know, I was through with it. There still may be some minor issues with the APA or something like that that I'm still asking you to do before a final submission.
Yeah. So on that, you know, understand that Dr. Hamilton and I are looking at content only. The peer review and your instructor is supposed to do the formatting kind of issues. Remember, we're only putting it on the state grading rubric for content. That's why we keep them separate. You know, we're preparing you for task stream, which is the state grading rubric. That's what we're concerned about as your coaches, is getting you through that state grading. Dr. Stedman, his concern's a little bit deeper. He's upholding the flame of the university, making sure that you're doing quality work that's professional in nature. We're a little more practical. We're just trying to get you a license. So it works out pretty well. You know, we're mostly concerned with content. He's concerned with format and content. Mostly.
Dr. Lamb, let me tell them too, if you see something sent back, when you look at it and I have highlighted the area in that lime green, that means that you need to go back and look at it because there's an issue there. That's going to be a standard. I will highlight it in green, and you need to figure out what's wrong with that. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I'm going to tell you, but you know that something's not right if it's highlighted in green.
Okay. All right. Questions about competency folio. You can set that up and you can start putting things in it. Just don't request comments yet. DRF portfolio, you're not going to put anything in there until it's complete. The APSEL, all 5 tasks are complete and we've okayed it. Remember, that's submission only. Don't try to request comments in there. The state won't give you any. It'll hang. They won't give you comments there. If you hear back from them, that's not a good thing. That means they've returned it for revision one time. And sometimes that happens. Let me caution you. Sometimes your work is returned for revision. 99.9% of the time when that happens, you've uploaded the wrong file. It would be extremely rare for us to all say, well, that looks good, and then the state say, nope, because we know exactly we're using their rubrics when we evaluate your work and give you comments. So it's you. Maybe one time out of 1,000, they differ in opinion with us. Generally, what's happened is you were working off a thumb drive or off your hard drive and you uploaded the wrong file. That's what I'm saying. Be very careful. Make sure you label these files correctly, and like I would put final on the last one. The last thing I would do, I would save it and change the name to the final one. Make sure that I've got it on the screen and I know this is the final copy that's going to go to TaskStream. That's when I would name it final document, AppSell final narrative or whatever it is, so that when you go to upload it in TaskStream, you don't upload a working document. That makes us look a little foolish when you do that, especially if it's one that's still in edit mode. You got notes out to the side and all that. Don't do that to us. Make sure it's the cleanest, best document you've got. It's the final one. Make sure that that's the one you upload in TaskStream. Otherwise, if you send one back that's in edit mode, if you put one in, they'll send it back. They'll say, well, this is not a final version. They expect it to be a professional document when they get it to evaluate it. Remember, this takes place at the licensing exam and practice and all that in North Carolina. South Carolina people, this satisfies everything except for the praxis for you. So it's got to be professional work. It's just like national boards, except it's like 6 national boards. So if you've ever been through the national board certification, you know that this is going to go and graders are going to look at it and they're going to have an impartial arbiter. If somebody thinks it's close, they'll have a second set of eyes on it. Sometimes they have 3. We don't want them to have more than one. We want it to sail right through. And it makes us all look bad if you upload the wrong document. Then I have to go get involved and go in and get that fixed and get it sent back and try to get that dusted off, or try to retrieve a document. Oh, you call me or send me an email. I put the wrong one in. It's been submitted. What am I going to do? Well, hopefully I'll be able to get in and send it back before the evaluator gets it. But we don't want the evaluator to see rough work. That predisposes them to grade us tighter. We don't want that. We want them to use anticipatory set. For those elementary people that teach reading out there, you know what I mean. We want them to use anticipatory set, where we've got them conditioned to expect great work from Garden Web people and specifically from you. And when they get one that's the wrong copy, then they think, well, I better be watching this person. They don't seem like they're very professional. And the grading gets tighter. These are all the tricks of the trade, folks. It's just people are human. I'm just telling you how it works the best. But, we'll champion you and we'll be in your corner and do whatever we can for you. But you make too many mistakes and they begin to wonder about you. Questions about competency folio, DRF portfolio, or the intern shell? Again, I looked at 3 today in the intern shell. They were all great. I have no qualms with them whatsoever. You're doing well on your work. Looks good. Everybody is keeping up. I hope that your Zoom teams are functioning, that you're going to be ready to get up and roll with those when it comes time to peer review 1 and 2. Again, that would be a link to that Zoom peer review of task 1 and 2 would be a great digital learning competency for communication. And it comes from the AppSell, so it would be perfect. Now, I won't tell you, I'm not going to tell you every time the answers to the test. You're going to have to kind of figure some of these out. But I'll tell you, for communication on the first round, the perfect artifact is a Zoom video of your peer review. That would be a perfect artifact for that.
Dr. Lamb, may I say one more thing? When you do your peer review, many of you will say, well, we've already done that. You need to look at, as a group, you need to look at issues or lessons learned while you were doing the AppSell task 1 and 2, and talk about those things that are going to make the process better, lessons learned throughout. You don't have to go back and rehash every little thing. You need to talk about the process and a way to make the process better. And somebody may know something that the other doesn't. So this is a good time to share. Make sure that your time is used wisely and it's productive. Don't talk about what you're going to buy at Belk's and JCPenney's. Talk about, the process and making it better the next time.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have tonight. Did I make my 30-minute limit or ran 4 over? Dr. Stedman talked too much.
It's always my fault, Dr. Lamb.
All right. I'm sending emails. I got other issues, other fish to fry.
Okay.
We'll see you, Tuesday night? Dr. Stedman, are we
yes.
on for Tuesday?
Yes, and they'll get their information on Sunday evening as I always do.
All right, let me look at my calendar before we go and make sure that I can be with you. Of course, y'all don't need me on Tuesday nights anyway, but let me look at that quickly before we get off the horn tonight, because I know I've got a university function coming up before long. So let's see. Tuesday.
February 6th at 7 o'clock.
Okay, I've got a meeting at 4. I'll be done at 6 o'clock or 7.
7 o'clock. We're going to talk to them about task 3.
Okay.
Really, we're probably going to look at task 3 and task 4 because some of them are going to be ready to move on with that, and then we'll.
If it's a 7 o'clock, I'll probably chime in just to listen. I don't have to say anything. If it's 7 o'clock, I've got a PEC meeting, Professional Education Committee meeting at 4 p.m.
But we'll try to make it about a 30-minute meeting is what we're going to try because they got other things they got to do this week.
Yep, that's exactly right. So I'll probably just log in. If I don't, you just go right on without me if that meeting runs late.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.